So it's 7:05, and I'm going to begin teaching my lesson. So far, we have no one who's joined the class, but that won't stop me. I'm just going to instruct the void, and anyone who wants to watch this later can do so, and hopefully they will learn something. So, hello everyone. Today we are talking about Dagger and Messer. I'll be doing basics of both. We're going to talk about the weapons themselves, the footwork that goes with them, and for the dagger, we're going to talk about the defense, the posta, the defenses, and a few of the strikes, or I guess all the strikes from dagger. And then for messer, we're going to talk about the construction of the weapon. We're going to talk about the footwork that goes with it, the guards, and we're going to talk about a few of the strikes. There are a lot of strikes for messer. So, without any further ado, this is a rondel dagger. Parts of the weapon are, we've got the point, which is going to be sharp as anything and cut through most things like it's butter. Well, pierce through, not cut through. The first 6 inches of the blade would be usually sharp on a sharp version of this. This one is my practice one. And then unsharpened at the bottom, which makes it easier for doubling up upon. For guards, we have on both front and back of the handle rondelles, which is where the name comes from. I'll usually switch between rondel and rondel dagger. I think I prefer rondel dagger. But anyways, then we have the grip. The rondels also help to, especially if you're armored and are kind of just straddling for the back of your belt because you've lost your sword and the guy's bashing in your face in or something like that. You can go and grab it, and it's very obvious where the handle is, and to anchor your hand on the blade as well. It also makes for doubling up for when you really got to stab someone. Okay, so those are parts of the dagger. 4 guards. I guess we should do footwork first. So, with Fiore Dei Liberi, our basic footwork is we start in our stance, which is our feet about shoulder width apart, about a bit wider than that, but longer than that, with about 55 to 60% of our weight on our front foot and about 45 to 40 on our back foot. With our hands, our shoulders squared on, and our hands relaxed. Good. Our first step is called the volta stabile, or stable step, and we just stable turn, and we just move our weight back so that now we're going this way, and we change the distance a bit. Our weight is on our back foot more than our front foot. Again, 55 to 45 or 60-40. Then we can move back with another volta stabile. Then we have a mezza volta passing step, and this can be back, it can be forward, and you are moving with the weight first going to your front foot as you move, then moving over and setting our feet. Now, feet like this. The front foot will be pointing towards our opponent. Our back foot will be pointing somewhere between straight that way and towards our opponent. So anywhere in there, depending on how flexible you are. Our weight, of course, is on the balls of our feet, although we want to be using our full foot as well, but the weight should be concentrated on the balls of our feet. We're stepping first with the balls of our feet, landing on the balls of our feet. Good. Next, our next step after the mezza volta, or the half turn, is the tutta volta, or full turn. We load up our weight on our front foot, and we're going to put our back foot over here. We're going to turn into it, and hopefully our head doesn't bob, because we want to stay nice and centered. And we do the same thing, going back the other way. Again, back foot goes over here. Good. Next, we have increasing steps where our foot goes back, our foot goes forward. We don't change the side you're fighting on. We just change the distance. These are also called shuffle steps. Then we have traversing steps, which you're using to get off the line and increase towards your opponent. A traversing step can also be a passing step, but you're not going straight towards your opponent. You're going to try and go around them. Okay, for Dagger post up, we have standing, middle iron gate. We have middle iron gate doubled, where we use our right hand to reinforce our left hand. Anyone else here yet? No, it is just me. Okay. Doubled. And then middle iron gate, doubled and crossed, where I put my right hand above my left hand defends, right hand follows on. Good. Open, closed. Then with dagger, we have iron gate with dagger. Although this is not shown in Fiore Dei Liberi's manuscript, it's implied. Maybe. We'll talk about that in a later week. Then we have iron gate doubled with dagger. And we have iron gate doubled and crossed with dagger, right hand over left hand. And the best of these defenses for when you're out of armor are going to be your open iron gate and iron gate with dagger, because you can make the most extended parries with these when you're making defenses. Then for armor, you have the doubled, which is stronger, but you have more limited range in your parries. So if someone's really trying to stab you, they're going to get a bit closer if you guard with the dagger or with doubled arm. Whereas if you block with normal extended parry. And then the worst for that is obviously doubled and crossed. It's the strongest, but it also has the least amount of range. And these daggers are going to be quite long, as you can see. They're about a foot. This one's about a foot long from base to point. So if you're not able to reach out far enough, like with your defense, you might get a bit of that point. So the iron gate doubled and crossed with a dagger is regarded as very strong, good armored post up, but not particularly great out of armor. Good. So that brings us to this. Now we're going to do let's do our strikes, and then we'll do our defenses, and then we'll go on to Messer. Good. So our first strike is called Mandrito. So it's going to come down from our right and target this kind of region. Our limit is kind of from beside the face towards the elbow, but our main target for this is going to be right here in the clavicle. You want to drive the point in there, hit the person's spine, end the fight. These aren't like slashy knives. They're meant for puncturing through armor and ending a fight. So, our first strike. We're going to, if we go from the drawing our dagger, second now, we're going to drag across our body, and we're going to bring up the point, and we're just going to bring our arm to the side because we're coming in at an angle. And we're going to move forward and drive in the point with the rest of our body behind it. So we're on the passing step. As our foot lands, this is embedding in someone's clavicle. Beautiful, no? Let's do it again. And 1. And 2. I'm going to double up and withdraw if they block it. And then up, as soon as the point goes to your point, you move forward and into their clavicle. Good. Double up, pull back. 4. Make sure as you're attacking that your left hand is falling on, not grabbing and not holding, but kind of near your elbow, ready to act as support, or grab the dagger back if they try and take it from you. Or to double up if they are really particularly good at defending themselves. Good, so that's Mandrito. Now we're going to do from the other side. We're going to do reverso. This is regarded as one of the weaker attacks, and it's not something you want to open with. But we cross across our line, and we attack on the same angle to our opponent's other clavicle. Good, 1. Again, as soon as the point is pointing forward, you are going forward behind it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Now we're going to come straight down. For this, our target is from our eyes to our upper chest. Yes, lower chest. We're in here. No lower than the elbow. Good. 1. 2. 3. So far we've been going kind of this, like the throat bowl and the upper chest. Now let's aim our last 2 strikes for the eyes. So we're going to go like we're going through someone's visor. 3, 4, 5. I guess I didn't double up to bring those back. Oh well. Now our last one, we're going to withdraw, switch, so our point is coming up like this, and we're going to go from our hip, and this point is going to go somewhere in our opponent's middle section. We're not going to go high up here because as soon as you bring it up, you're lowering your reach. So we're just going to go straight forward into the stomach, maybe the heart, and ultimately into their spine. And again, following with your left hand at your elbow. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So those are our strikes. Now we're going to do our defenses. These ones just from Iron Gate with no dagger involved. Just a second, I'm going to check if anyone has tried to join. I don't believe anyone has. So we're going to continue on. Chat. Good. No one looks like they're trying to join, so I'm alone. Okay. Let's continue on then. So we just did the 4 angles of attack for dagger. Our defense for a Mandrito, that becoming like re-striking like this, so it will be coming this way against us. We're going to use our left hand, and we're going to use a knife edge strike. We're going to be trying to hit our opponent right about here. So you want to hit at the wrist, right where they're grabbing onto the dagger. You do not want to be hitting the dagger at the point. That's the wrong place. And you don't want to be getting them over here either, because that will give you limited leverage. We're trying to hit exactly like this, and our hand's going to come right there. So right there, and then we're going to use our leverage to remove the blade. Although we're not going to go into disarms today, we're just going to do the defenses. But okay, so that's where we're targeting with the dagger. So our defense is just going to go outward, and we're going to have our hand ready to punch, and we're going to drive our knife hand with our fingers all together, thumb all together, knife hand into the opponent's wrist. Good. 1. And we're taking a increasing step as we do, landing as we strike, and we want to be far, have our hand far out. And then as we get there, we're going to be punching, trying to punch them in the face, gain a bit of time for us to do what we need to do. So, reset. 1. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. I'll slow down to let you, my Phantom Void students, catch up. And good. Now we're going to go on the opposite side, defending against Verso. And so instead of using one hand, we're going to use both our hands. And we're going to go with an increasing step towards our opponent, because if they're attacking with the reverso, they're already giving us their outside, which is why it's silly to attack with the reverso first. But maybe this person just hasn't thought it through. Maybe they're tired. So we're going to target with our right hand, their wrist, again, right where the rondel isn't. We're going to hit them right here is what we're going for. And then with our left hand, since we're closer, we're going to go for their elbow. They should be giving us a bit of elbow right here. So we're going to hit wrist, elbow. And really do with some moxie, because they're trying to shove a spike of metal into your spine. 1. And again, increasing step towards their hip this time. Not away so much, towards their hip. We're stepping closer, so we're already kind of getting out of the way. Okay. Again, we're in iron gate, hands nice and relaxed, maybe a bit more relaxed. We don't really see the flow. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. Okay. Perhaps I should have slowed down. Do with that what you will. So that's our defense against reverso. Next, we're going to do our defense against fendente. That's the one that's coming straight down or straight to your eyes. With this, we're going to use both our hands again, and we're going to pair them like a butterfly. So our thumb of our right hand goes over top of our the knife edge of our inner wrist, and the other thumb is supported by our right palm. So then we go kind of like this, snaring butterfly, and we're going to stop the wrist and then grab and hold on, because they're going to try and stab us again if they don't manage to do it the first time. So this is again against fendente strike, coming straight down. Again, we're going to use a increasing step, get off the line, because we do not want to be there if they happen to double up or really drive in, or maybe they're just bigger than us. We don't know. Or we would know, I guess, if we see the person. Anyways, so fendente defenses. So again, picture your opponent coming in with a fendente strike. It's coming down, and you're going to reach out, grab. Good. Make sure you're stepping off the line. I often just step towards them. You want to step off the line. Good. You also want to grab afterwards. Good. Grab. Good. 4. Grab. Good. 5. Grab. Good. Now that is fendente. Now we're going to do the opposite. They're going to be trying to stab us from below with his Zotano. Not sure if I said that, but most of us would already know that. So yeah, Zotano. And again, we're targeting the person's wrist and the very top of their hand. the closer we can get to the dagger, the more leverage we're going to have, the less able they're going to be to poke us into, with this large amount of steel. The other thing to know for your Santana defenses is with this one, you can afford to break your structure a tiny little bit. You're going to scoot your butt back and your shoulders forward a bit, and you're going to defend with a reverse, but with the same butterfly. Again, right over left, because left grabs, right falls on afterwards. Okay, so person's coming towards, they're trying to disembowel you. And from at Guelph, we're going to start from a frontale position. We want our thumbs kind of on level with our eyes. And when they have the knife coming towards us, we're going to go down and move forward with our butt going back and reach out a bit, because this is one where they're likely to get us in the belly. And then the amount of space you have is a lot less for this defense than most of the others. Good. So, 1. Grab. And 2. Grab. And 3. Grab. And 4. And grab. And 5. And grab. Good. So those are the defenses for Dagger. We will go into further detail for everything else in Dagger at a later date. Now we're moving on to Messer. Any questions? No one here? Good. I'm just going to check the Facebook chat to see if anyone's trying to get in. Is anyone trying to get in and unable to? I don't believe they are. I think there'd be some sort of, I don't use Zoom much. I use Google Meet for teaching. Maybe I should do that from now on. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so messers. This is a long messer. I ordered this particular one from Reginier. There are other places you can go, but this is mine and I love it. There are other messers, but this is mine. So parts of the sword. Messer is anywhere from, short messer might be like 1.5 foot blade. This one has about 2.5 foot blade, and you have everything kind of in between and even maybe a bit longer. Long messer, we have the blade, we have the handle, we have the point, we have the weak, and we have the strong. Although in most of the systems that deal with it, they're more likely to call it the foible, which again means like kind of the weak, and the fort, which is again the strong. And then we have the point, we have a clip, which will usually be sharpened. We have the short blade, short of the blade, short edge, because it's shorter than the other edge, as opposed to true and false, which depends on the knuckle alignment. This doesn't, it's just the shorter part of the blade. Then we have the long of the blade on this side. Then we have the cross guard, similar to any other swords. And then we have this thing called the nail, which is very specific to the messer, which in German just means knife. And yeah, so anyway, so the nail kind of acts as a third pillar, and it will affect our guards, and it will affect how we go about winding and ways that we bind a bit easier and a bit safer with this than we might with other swords. And then we have the grip and we have the pommel, much like other ones. This one has a curved handle. Yeah. Two other things to keep in mind for messers, as opposed to like long swords. If you're used to long swords, you do not stay in any extended hand forward guard like ever. You're either in the middle of attack and you're pressing an attack, and then you're as far out as you can get in order to kind of keep yourself safe. But as soon as you're withdrawing, your hands are back. So all the guards will see are with withdrawn hands and arms. because those are going to be one of the main targets for this. It's not quite long enough that you can always target like the head or the body, but the favorite targets are often like, hands, wrists, elbows. And there's not a whole ton of hand protection. Like the nail adds quite a bit. There's no underestimating the nail, but you don't want, your hands are vulnerable. And so it'll also affect, you always want to try and keep the nail on the side that they're going to be attacking on, or the side to keep them from attacking on that side. Yeah. If you think someone's likely to hit your hand, you want to kind of have the nail going in that direction. Again, a lot of this is new to me, so this is a lot of experimentation, and don't take my words on Messer as gospel. Good. Okay, so let's talk about footwork. Footwork is going to be very similar to what we see in Fiore Dei Liberi, more or less. It's pretty basic. There's one kind of stance. It's a bit closer together. Your feet are a bit closer together, and weight is more usually 50-50 on each side. Aside from the points when you're stepping. And for our steps, we have the passing steps, going back, going forward, passing, kind of like you're walking. Good. And again, make sure you're leading with the ball of your foot. And that's going to be where your weight stays. Okay. So passing, and then we have increasing or shuffles. And one foot will go forward, other foot will correct behind us. And it'll just keep on going like that. And then we can go backwards like that. Good. Good. And then we have triangle steps, which can either be can be done by either your front foot or your back foot. But if you're going in a direction, you're going to lead with the foot that's already in that direction. So if we're going left, then we lead with my back foot, and we're going to go off at a transverse, and then we're going to bring our other foot back behind us. And same thing, going that way, the right foot, bring our other foot back behind us. And we could be more jumpy. We see a lot of people in more German schools be jumping back and forth, but you don't want to be doing that too much because it leaves you vulnerable to close play. There are a few other steps. I'm not going to do them today. We're going to go on to guards. First, let's just review the steps. We've got passing. We've got advancing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. And then we have triangle. We also have double steps and back lunges, but I'm not going to go into those today. So let's begin with guards. Our guards include Ever on the left, or four, I believe. First off, our offhand will be used, so you want to keep it kind of safe. In the manuscript, it can be shown back of the arm like this. I've also seen people use it at the hip or at the heart here. So where you prefer. I'm going to say I prefer this, although I do often find myself using behind the back. So I'm going to just keep mine at the hip. Good, so we have Ever. So first off, we're going to use the German thumb, and we're going to have our short towards our opponent, point towards their opponent, towards their face, and hand far back near our back hip. Good, so we have Ever on the left. Good. Does everyone have it? Yeah? Good. We want to stay like pretty straight up and down. Pause your eyes. Ever. We want to try and keep our body on one side of the blade. We don't want to have it in the middle where it, might be providing a threat, but there's way from to attack here or attack here. We want to be solidly on one side of the blade. So ever on the left. Then with a regular hammer grip, point forward, hand back by our knee, and point towards the opponent. Got Baste. Again, we have our right foot forward. This is Baste. Then we take a passing step with the left, and we bring our sword up. And again, we have ever on the right. And this time, we still have the nail on this side pointing out, whereas before on the other side, we had it again pointing out this way. And we want to be on this side with our long edge towards our opponent this time, and point again towards your face with our hand nice and back by our back hip. Good. You don't want to have anything hanging out where they can attack, unless we want them to attack something like that. Good. So we have ever on the right. Passing step. And we're going to again have our thumb in the German thumb position, opposite the nail. Nail's here, thumb's here. And we're going to have our hands back. Again, try and have it in line with our back hip, although front hip is okay, I guess. And we want to have our nail going up, hand high, point towards our opponent. And this is called steer. This is steer on the left. Good. And now we're going to, no, we're not going to pass. Now we're going to do Lugensland, where our hand comes high. And in fact, if I didn't have a ceiling, I'd say have the blade point all the way up. If you have a ceiling like I do, though, or like most people do, I imagine most ceilings don't have another 3 feet above someone's hand. You want your blade to be pointing straight up. So this is more of an outside thing. And again, you want your hand back. Try and have it in level with your front hip, with your knee. Let's go with knee. Let's have it in front level with your knee. Blade going straight up. And this is called Lugensland or Watchtower. Good. I just have mine in like when I'm standing up, so I don't hit the ceiling. In Falcone, which is in body, I believe. Yes. So yeah, this is Lugensland. And then we take a step forward, and we have our hand up again. Again, we want our nail up here, and we want our point high, hand high, point towards our opponent. And this is steer on the right. Good. Then we let our point go over to the side. So instead of pointing at our opponent, we have it covering the line of any attacks that might come this way. And this turns into a hanging guard, or the Pogen. Good. This is Pogen on the right. Then we just put our hand down by our shoulder. Hand should be about this level. And from the sources I found, this is only shown on the right. That might change. I will do further research, and we'll have greater answers. And this is kind of like our relaxed version of Posta di Donna in Missouri. Following that, we have Pogen on the left, again, withdrawn elbows, withdrawn hand, and our point going off to the side. Preferably our opponent's far shoulder, opposite shoulder. Again, it turns into the hanging guard. Then we let our hands drop, and we have our point going back right in line with our feet. And this is called Schrankhut on the left. This is very much like left tail in Rosario. Then we take a passing step forward, and our blade remains where it is, and this is called swinger. So it's left foot forward, hands kind of above our front knee. Good. Then we let our hand drip to the side, and our point forward. This is called Schrankhut on the right. Good. Does anyone have any questions? Good. No one's here. So I'm hoping that was understandable. I'm going to go through them again, and then I'm going to do some cutting drills, and then we're going to, well, I might not even actually, we're going to try and do that. We might run out of time in the meantime. Anyways, let's go. So, ever on the left, Baste. Ever on the right, steer on the left with our right foot forward, again with the German thumb. Then we have Lugensland, right foot forward. Then we have, with a passing step, ever on the right, or not ever, steer on the right. And we have Hogan to the side. We have at the shoulder. I'm sure it has a real name, but I'm going to call it at the shoulder. Then we have Hogan on the left. Then we have Schrankhut on the left. Schrankhut on the left. Zwinger. Schrankhut on the right. Good. Let's do a cutting drill. So in Messer, we have basic strikes from 5 different directions. We have straight down. We have wrath from the right, middle or thwart from the right, and rising from the right. And we also have wrath from the left, thwart from the left, rising from the left. Okay. And we have scalp cut with a high cut from above. Okay. So for a cutting drill, I'm going to be borrowing this from Joaquin Meyer's Dusack section. Dusack was a training tool for Messer. The hand protection is slightly different. Messers have the nail and usually not any finger bow. Dusacks usually have a finger bow, but usually don't have a nail. Otherwise, they're pretty much the same. Good, so we're going to start in steer, and Meyer's drill shows with hands supporting from the left. So I'm just going to do that because I think that's neat. Good, and we're going to bring forward, step with a high cut. These are usually going to target the scalp and act as a provocation. Good, with a passing step. And then we're going to gather our back foot up. Not so it's like too close, but so it's closer, so we have another step. And then as we do that, we're going to do a hanging parry. Presumably they've offset ours, and we're just going to go back, cut forward with a increasing step. And again, gather, cut, and then going back, we're going to gather with our front foot going back, and then cut with our back foot going back. Gather, cut, gather, cut, gather, cut. Do that 3 more times, and we'll call that a lesson. Okay. So, with a passing step, cut, gather, cut, gather, cut, gather, cut. Going back. Gather, cut, gather, cut, gather, cut, gather, cut. One more time. One more time. Shouldn't this close soon? Probably should close soon. But I'm going to do it one more time, and hopefully it won't close before that's done. So, there we go. Passing with the cut, gather with the parry, gather with the parry, cut, gather with the parry, cut. Good. Now stepping back, gather with the parry, cut, gather with the parry, cut, gather with the parry, cut. Good. So, to summarize, we've done dagger basics, we've done master basics, we've done a few striking drills and a few defense drills. If you have any questions, please send me a message or link, or I don't know what you want. See you later. Let's close up. I've been Mike Pennington, and this has been Dagger and Messer. Ciao, everyone.